there are three key things in a Substrate template node that I've shown to you. Now, the node is just running on my computer, but if I give this binary to multiple people, they can also run the nodes on their computer. They both discover each other, and then we have a blockchain network with like three different nodes running across like, three different machines in across the world. And all of that networking aspect is taken care by lib peer-to-peer protocol. So lib peer-to-peer protocol is developed by the people who created IPFS. So if you heard of Filecoin, IPFS, so that's the team behind lib peer-to-peer protocol. It's a networking stack. So what we did, Polkadot took that networking stack, it tweaked a little bit, and then it's using that as the networking layer. And then for the core logic, the application logic of the blockchain, we are using WebAssembly. So WebAssembly, you can think of that like JavaScript in a way. So it's able to run on browsers. Um, so WebAssembly it can be treated like its own virtual machine. It has instructions, and it executes those instructions in near native speeds. So this is really great in a way because EVM, the innovation is sort of capped. Like you can't do much about EVM now. If you even change a little bit, like a lot of overhead comes to Ethereum blockchain, they have to upgrade and yeah, we saw how much effort it took to have like merge like happen, right? So WASM WebAssembly, it's being worked by companies like Google, Facebook. All of these companies are improving the fundamental tech stack of WebAssembly, and then we are using that WebAssembly machine as our brains for the blockchain. So it's you can count on this technology. It's like future proof. We're talking about blockchains for the next 10, 20 years. So this is the choice that Polkadot went with. And not just Polkadot. I think there are other blockchains that have WebAssembly, brains as well. And then for consensus, we have like what's grandpa, like the researchers at Web3 Foundation, which is where I work at, like they developed this consensus mechanism, and it gives you, I think I forgot to show you like Polkadot consensus earlier. So let me go back. See here, Network Explorer. So if you see, there's a best block and then there's a finalized block. So best block is like if it's 18, the finalized is 15. So typically the finalization, the block finality, it lags by like 3 blocks or 2 blocks, which is about 20 seconds. So every transaction that goes on to like Polkadot is going to be finalized within 20 seconds. All right, so there's a question here. Are there any challenges Polkadot faces with respect to parachains with regards to block time, the relay chain, and interoperability? That's a very good question. So I told you Polkadot's block time is like 6 seconds, right? So each block is produced in 6 seconds and it is finalized in 20 seconds. Now, there are a few blockchains that may want like faster finality times. So Substrate being like so flexible, I'll show you a live network that's running. It's called Aleph0. Let's go here. So what these people did was they used Substrate blockchain building framework, and then they created a blockchain with 1 second finality time. So they are able to use a different consensus engine, which is based on directed acyclic graphs. So that's like cutting edge, like consensus, mechanism right now, like people are exploring. But yeah, so one problem with that is you see they started like much later than like Polkadot, but they already have like 56 million blocks on their account, on their like network or whatever. So it is possible that you have the ability to even change the block times of your blockchain network. But this Aleph0 cannot run directly as a parachain on Polkadot because uh, you know they have their own consensus. They're not using Polkadot security. So for instance, if you go to staking on their thing, so they're running like their own like validators, right? So they had to bootstrap their own security for doing this. Now, what they did was, I think I can show you. So LF0, to make sure they have connection with like Polkadot, they actually won like a parachain slot on Polkadot, and then they're connecting to Polkadot as a bridge. Okay, so that way, so what LF0 can do is they have the transactions, they're finalizing within 1 second, and there's a concept called as anchoring. Like you have this even in Ethereum. So if you want something to be very secure, you do it in your own like blockchain, and then you anchor like a hash or something on a much more secure blockchain. So that gives you added security. So that's what like LF0 can do with their blockchain. So if you want, they can finalize it with a limited security instantly, and then after 20 seconds their transaction is even having like a lot more security than just that. So that is all possible, and the innovation, it's like there's no bounds to what you can achieve. So you can have like a gaming application running on LF0, which takes care about like high frequency transactions, and then in batches it can sort of deploy that onto Polkadot if it needs. All right, so okay, so yeah, like I mentioned, try it out, like run a Substrate node. It's running on my machine. It requires very limited resources. It takes a bit of time to compile, but so it can run on your machine. If you don't want to install all of this, and then if you want to try it out, so click on this link. It's called playground.substrate.dev. So this is like all you need is a GitHub account. So let me go to the node template. Actually, this doesn't have a lot of capacity, so I would say don't try it right away. But later on, if you just want to test, have a sense of like what this node is and how it is running, you can run it on the cloud. So we have this playground. So once this starts, you're able to connect to this playground account, blockchain network through this. So you can say open Polkadot.js apps. So yeah, so the blockchain just started. So if I open Polkadot.js, so it's connected to my GitHub ID, playground.substrate.dev. And yeah, so you have the block number 3 that is being produced, and then yeah, so you have block number 3 right there. So that's something you can explore later. And yeah, so Substrate is a broad framework, and Polkadot is built on top of it. So if you look at Polkadot libraries, they're a subset of Substrate. And Substrate has a lot more functionalities like smart contracts, NFTs. All of them are already there. You can just import them into your blockchain network and then do it.